Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day so far. My name is JurassicKM and welcome to today's video. Earlier this week I got a bunch of YouTube notifications while I was at work saying that some new Jurassic World Hammond Collection figures had been revealed by Mattel. After I came home from my shift that day, I did record about 20 minutes of unscripted reactions and thoughts, but I hated how it all sounded, probably because it was unscripted. So I listened to the audio again. Then I took those initial thoughts and wrote them into a more palpable script. While I do have some of the human Hammond Collection figures that were released through Mattel Creations, my history with the Hammond Collection dinosaurs is a little spotty. There are a few figures that I genuinely like, or at the very least like them enough to pick them up. For the most part, though, I find that the Hammond Collection does not deliver on what they advertise. For a line that is meant to be a premium line aimed at older collectors, the cream of the Mattel crop, if you will, and have even gone so far as to double down on the true effects label and stating that these figures include, and I quote, premium details for enhanced realism. I expect the figures to look like they basically walked out of the film or Netflix show and onto store shelves. Well, one look at any of the Velociraptors, especially the one from the Lost World, will tell you that that true effects label is a lie. And don't even get me started on the T-Rexes. I don't say this out of malice towards Mattel or for the sake of saying so to jump on some kind of a trend. I say this out of love for an intellectual property that is a very core part of my being. The Hammond Collection has put out some good figures. I want to make that very clear. Even some figures that I've never seen in person and have only seen pictures of. So let's see if there's any good ones in this new batch. Let's start off with the Jurassic World Rebirth Dilophosaurus. This is a repaint of the original Dilophosaurus figure from a few years back, so on the plus side, this gives people a second chance to get that sculpt that has become pretty rare. But I do wish that this new version had been updated with a few tweaks. As for the patterns, the coloration isn't perfect, as the frills aren't as vibrant as they should be. There's colors just outright missing from the head. The body looks a little too brownish gray when I feel like it should be more greenish gray, but I do think that this one is okay. There might actually be more paint on this version than there was on the Jurassic Park version of the Dilophosaurus. Now, admittedly, I already have a Jurassic World Rebirth Dilophosaurus in my collection, so I don't really see the need to pick this one up. I do think it looks okay, though. Next is the Hypsilophodon. So we have another novel species coming to the Hammond Collection. Admittedly, it's been a minute since I've read the book, so I don't remember exactly how they're described. But if I'm being completely upfront with you guys, this one just looks like a repainted Dryosaurus figure with a shorter neck. I swear, even the head and mouth pieces are the same, complete with the inaccurate theropod teeth. This one is just a complete nothing burger of a figure that is not part of the film canon, so it's a hard pass for me. Our next entry is the Jurassic World Rebirth Mutodons. I hate the Mutodons. These are hands down my least favorite hybrids. I've hated the Mutodons ever since I first saw Rebirth, and this figure is not doing them any favors. The colors are, not surprisingly, wrong. The Mutodons have a dark blue body with a stark white counter shading beneath and striping patterns throughout the limbs. Instead, for this one, we've got brown for the body, tan for the counter shading, and no patterns on the legs. The wings need to be orange, not tan brown, and they need to be longer, as does the tail. I don't hate the idea of the interchangeable wings, though. I think it makes more sense here than having the interchangeable jaws on some of the previous Hammond Collection figures. You want to know what the real kicker is? You want to know what really gets under my skin with this one? Of all the figures revealed, and despite how much I hate the Mutodons, this is the figure that I am most likely to pick up. for the sole reason that I do not have a Mutadon figure in my collection to repaint and check off of the list. Now, while they aren't perfect, I do think that the mainline Mutadon figures look better, and if I have the chance to get one of the Strike Attack Mutadons instead, which I assume will just be one of the Destruction Pack figures packaged individually, I will go that route. If that doesn't present itself, the Hammond Collection Mutadon is a good backup plan. Next up is the Skull. Oh dear. I know that's supposed to be saliva. That doesn't look like saliva. At least this particular mouthpiece is removable. Anyway, next up is the Scorpius Rex from Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, which actually marks the first time that one of the Netflix series' characters or creatures has been featured in the Hammond Collection line. Should have been Cash, though. The initial picture makes the Scorpius' skull look more like the Indoraptor, and while it does look better in the other pictures, it's not quite there. The neck looks a little too thin and long as well, so I can't help but wonder if this was originally supposed to be a Hammond Collection Indoraptor figure, but then they just changed it to Scorpius halfway through the design process. I don't really see the point to the interchangeable hands on this one because they look pretty similar in the pictures that I've found. I don't hate the coloration on this particular figure, as the first Scorpius Rex that you see in Camp Cretaceous does have a pretty dark brown body. But as for the sculpt, I definitely prefer the Ultimate Damage version. I already have two Scorpius Rexes that I have painted and covered on the channel, so this Hammond Collection one is going to be a hard pass for me. But with that being said, I do think that, questionable mouthpiece aside, this is one of the better Hammond Collection reveals. So keeping with the hybrids, the big theropod this time around is the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World. Now, this is one that a lot of people have been waiting for and have been really excited for. I get what they're trying to do with the dino damage piece, as that is the tracking implant that she claws out in the movie. But I feel like the wound is far too large. How does the mainline Extreme Chompin equivalent Distortus Rex figure have more screen accurate teeth than the True Effects Premium Detailed Indominus Rex? On that note, why does a third-party off-brand version of the creature look more accurate to the one from the film than the officially licensed product does? Why does the iRex have so much brown wash on it? It's supposed to be a pale gray, with the only brown on its body being the grime on its teeth or the dried blood around its mouth. Also, much like the Scorpius Rex, I don't really see the point to the interchangeable hands because they look the same in this picture. I already have an Indominus Rex for my collection too, if you include the Super Colossal, and I think the sculpts on these are more accurate, even with the goofy clown feet and the shorter tails. So this one is going to be a hard pass for me. If I were an Indominus Rex stan, I would be very let down by this reveal. Now, finally, we have the life-size Aqualops Dolores from Jurassic World Rebirth. When this one was announced a couple weeks ago, I thought to myself, okay, this one might be good. This one is obviously not in scale with the rest of the Hammond Collection, and I have seen some people say that that alone is a deal breaker for them. The first thing that I notice is that the frill might be a little too small compared to the rest of the body, but I do think that the rest of the figure looks decent. The paint apps aren't perfect, but I do think that they're close enough, and I mean, let's be honest, if I get this one, I'm going to repaint it anyway. I think it's amusing that Dolores could have benefited the most from having a brown wash applied to the body. The Dilophosaurus, the Mutadon, and the Indominus Rex are way too brown, while Dolores the Aqualops isn't brown enough. Figure that one out. This looks cute. I see the appeal, and while I already have a Dolores figure to repaint and check off of the list, I would be a bold-faced liar if I said that the idea of having a life-size figure of a dinosaur from the Jurassic franchise wasn't tempting. So those are my thoughts on the new Jurassic World Hammond Collection reveals from Mattel. Now, I understand that this video is not the most positive one that I've made, but unfortunately, these reveals have done very little to change my mind on the Hammond Collection as a whole. In fact, I have said this in the comments on other videos before, and I will say it here. I think the Hammond Collection needs to come to an end. Mattel can keep making the mainline figures, as I'm far more forgiving of those because they are meant for play with a younger audience. But for a line that claims to have true effects and premium details for enhanced realism, another company needs to take over and show Mattel how it's done. Obviously, Nanmu would be the most likely choice for this, but as someone who used to collect their Predator figures and has bought Doom figures for their kid, I wouldn't mind seeing McFarlane Toys take a stab at the Jurassic Park franchise either. Folks, if you've made it this far into the video, I do want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it. If you like what you see, be sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for any future notifications, and share this video around. And until next time, which will hopefully be a more uplifting video, this is JurassicKM, signing off.